How are you? I am good. The skies are clear and the sun's rays are falling softly. So the atmosphere is pleasant. That's not what I want to talk about. The main objective of this video is to talk about this book. I don't even remember when I bought this. I actually had it. Um, the author, Umberto Eco or Umberto Eco. Uh, so the author gave an interview, and we had that interview as our text in English literature in school. And he was talking about this book, The Name of the Rose. And I was really intrigued at that time. I really wanted to read this book, but I did not purchase it at that time. I think after 1 to 2 years, I bought it and then I tried to read it. And I read about 40 pages and then I gave up because I was so bored and I thought that this book was incomprehensible. And then I think a year or two passed by, and then I picked this up again because I was like, I can't let a book sit in my shelf and remain undiscovered, unknown to me. Personally, I feel books are the worlds of authors, the universes that are waiting to be discovered. And whenever I read a book, I feel like I'm exploring this new universe. I'm exploring the mind of another person, and I'm like having a deep conversation with the author by reading his or her book. So I thought this is a very enriching conversation that I'm missing out on just because um I'm scared of the thickness of this book. It's 530 pages, and usually I read 300 to 400 pages book. So that's why this was a little bit overwhelming. I mean the page count, and that's why it took me a long time to gather the courage to pick this up and finally read it. But I finally did it. And I shouldn't say that I finished reading it because this is the type of book that you can never finish reading. This is like a universe. The author built a whole universe, and you cannot possibly explore everything in one go. So, to be very honest, at first it was really difficult to read this book because it, it is extremely dense. The literary style, the grammar structure, and the vocabulary, everything is complicated. Okay, it's like it is written in the format of a riddle. So we form sentences to express, but here the sentences are formed to conceal. And I think that is very symbolic of the plot itself, which is like a wonderful thing for an author, like the ability to do that. Your literary style literally depicts your plot. That is just amazing. And I think this is why this book is so famous and so loved. I have literally, literally never heard anyone say that this book is bad. And after reading it, I completely understand. Because, oh my god, I I like complicated structures and all that, and I myself had a lot of trouble to start understanding this book, the chapters, and the descriptions, especially going through the descriptions was just, it was just so difficult. It was, I'm not going to lie, it was a headache. I was really irritated and annoyed. But then I thought a book is worth putting so much effort for, because people literally doom scroll, which also gives them headache and makes them feel irritated. And if I do that for a book, I think that's a little better. And the best part is the book was absolutely worth it, because the ending and the chapters, the pace of the book, everything was amazing. The dogs are howling again. But let's talk about the book. As I said, everything was amazing, and that is just a surface level compliment. I will, I will not give any spoilers, but I think someone who wants to read this book should also not listen to the next part, because I will reveal the type of content in this book. I think that is also like a spoiler. Like, don't say it if you haven't read the book, okay? If you really want a very authentic and very roller coaster, but also mind mind boggling experience. So there is um, theological discussions and debates, a lot of biblical references. Like, sometimes I literally sat with Chat GPT in one hand and the book in the other. I was like, oh, I don't understand this sentence. I don't understand the sudden irrelevant thing. And then I had to Chat GPT and Google, and then I could proceed. A lot of political references from the time that it was set in. At first, I was really strict about knowing exactly what happened in the political environment. But then I kind of eased on it, and I was like, I cannot possibly know everything, every little detail, so it's okay. And it turned out okay. I still enjoyed it very much because the book is just amazing. But the main thing is being able to integrate. I got interrupted because the universe doesn't like me to have uninterrupted, relaxing time. But that's alright. It's not alright. I feel bad. Never mind. So, the thing is, this book, being able to integrate the political environment, the religious debates, and basically all the problems and crises that the common people were facing at that time, and all the fights between the people in power, being able to integrate that with the plot in such a natural and casual way is just wonderful. I mean, maybe it is, this is done by a lot of books, and how would I know? I have merely read a few murder mysteries and one romance, and no, one, not one, two. I've barely read like 10 books my whole life, so I wouldn't know. But the thing is, the way it all feels so real, that is the commendable thing about this book. Like, you read it and you feel like everything actually happened, that it was real. You know, in some religions, I shouldn't talk about religion, let's talk about the book. But I was going to give the example of some stories you read and you feel like this must have happened somewhere. And the book is amazing at doing that. Makes you feel like this actually happened and everything is so real. People actually had this discussion. And then another thing is, yes, the characters. The author is so brilliant because I myself write stories, and I think one of the hardest things to do is to build characters and not make them look similar or have similar mindsets. It's just so difficult because you are one person writing five, six characters, and each of them have to seem different because they are different people. But you have only one mind and you have only one psyche. So you have to have the ability to think in multiple layers to be able to give different characters their own differences, their own perspectives, and being able to convince your reader that yes, they are different people. I think this is just one of the best features of this book. You genuinely feel like every person, their actions are so well justified, and every person is like this different person. They give you a different kind of impression. I think this is a very hard thing to do, and the author is just brilliant. In fact, I have a very short dictionary of vocabularies to describe the brilliance of the author. What did I just say? So, yeah, that is just, I thought that was just brilliant. And of course, the book is so dense and it is just so multi layered, multifaceted. Do they say multifaceted? I don't know. But it's like I did not just read a book. It's like I experienced this whole train of epiphanies. I I also like marked them, and then I lost my sticky notes. So I underlined some things in these pages. I have to look for them. So, but yeah, like how did the author do this? So I don't know. I'm just so amazed. This book is so multi-layered that I will probably read it again. And I say probably because I am the type of person that gets very overwhelmed and has to gather a lot of courage with difficulty to go through something that she has already gone through. And that is why I said probably, but this is the kind of book that you read over and over again, and every time it's a new experience. You discover something new, and you're like, wow, I did not know this before. Like, everyone should buy this book because it's like an investment for enlightening your brain, enlightening yourself. What am I saying? But it's okay. This is just a video for my future self. When you're watching this, please read this again. That's why I left its personal bookmark at the last page. Yeah, I mean, just pick it up again, okay? You need to experience this again because it will not be an again, it will be a new experience. Yeah. All right. That was the review, and I definitely did not say everything I wanted to say because I forgot. I forgot what I wanted to say. This book is amazing, and I will read it again if situation permits me. And thank God a book like this exists, because if this book was straightforward and not riddled with riddles, then I think it would have got banned, because this is very eye-opening. If someone understands it, they will get enlightened to the core. So thank God the writer exists and has written a wonderful book like this. I hope many other books are like this and I can discover them before I forget how to read difficult books. And definitely this book is very difficult, I'm not going to lie, but it is difficult because it carries a heavy and wonderful message. And it carries a lot of things actually. A lot of things. That's why it's difficult. And yeah, I should also say that a person who is not ready to think and think beyond their preconceived thoughts and mindset, they will not be able to understand or accept the things going on in this book. So, yeah, this book really broadened my perspective, and that's why I love it. I love that my world was expanded by this book. Alright, that was the review. I hope if someone other than me watches it, this inspires you to read this book. But I would highly recommend that you read it slowly and not rush, because this is going to drive you mad if you try to rush through it. And I hope you take some time, maybe during the holidays when you're feeling rebellious, pick this book and spend a month maybe just reading through it and reading and understanding. It will be one of a kind experience, I promise. Okay, I hope you are alright. To my future self, please read this again and stay well. Bye.